To be honest, I really have to say thank you to everyone who was commenting on the last videos. That made me go ahead and continue this path to build a foiling monohull. In this video I will try to make a LED bulb for my micromagic, because the 3x1 is just a little bit too big and the micromagic is so quick and easy to get around with and to get sailing. And time on water is king, so I will keep on building a model boat, but it will be the micromagic. Here you can see how I'm working with the lead on my stainless steel keel. Why am I using a stainless steel fin? Well, the reason is simple. I wanted to build a keel that is quick and fast. I want to build a boat that is quick and fast, so I need to have a keel that is quick. And why is it quick? I thought, and that wasn't right, to be honest, that a super small fin will be the most efficient fin, because there's less surface and less, how do you say that, shadow surface. By this I thought I achieved the least friction in the water and the least friction. The reason why I thought this is I thought that a thin blade, like a knife in the water, will be super slippery. In these small scales the water is pretty thick. You can imagine being in a forest alone, and the bigger you get, the thicker the forest gets, and the tree in this case will be the water molecules. So if you are big enough, you can just pile down all these trees like on a real boat, but if you are small, you have to be pretty small to get in between all these little molecules. That's why my keel is pretty thin and sharp in the front. That came along with quite a few problems, to be honest. This keel was quick in the beginning. I thought I am the fastest in the lake, but what I figured out was that after every tack and every jibe, the keel was slowing down the boat quite significantly. The reason for that is that the keel has no real profile to it, and after a slight change of angle of attack, the linear flow around this keel must go on and build up itself once more, and that takes around 4 to 5 boat lengths. And in this time of those 5 boat lengths, there's no real lift produced, and just turbulences, and that is slowing down the boat after every tack. So I think this keel is great in low to medium wind conditions, and especially in high wind condition, but in super low traveling speeds of the boat, this keel is definitely the worst you can imagine. The surface area itself is not stopping the boat enough from drifting, so what we can do is basically nothing in low wind. This is not really bothering me, to be honest, because our goal together is to make a keel which is fast and to get our boat foiling. So that's the reason why I'm building a new bulb out of lead for this boat. I made this lead cylindrical shape out of a paper mold. It is just some cardboard wrapped to a cylinder, and then poured some liquid lead into this paper mold. The paper is not burning because the lead is liquid in a lower temperature than the paper would need to burn. So that went pretty well and was acceptably a good solution. Now back to the video. I am shaping this lead bulb with pneumatic tools with some P40 and P120 grit sandpaper for a pneumatic sander, and now with this red disc I am buffing all the edges and surfaces so I have some shine to it and look to the sun and to the light to get some reflections and figure out if I need to sand down some areas a little bit more or if it is okay. By now you can guess that this keel is way to the rear of the fin. That is necessary because the whole center of gravity of this boat needs to shift a little bit backwards. We figured that out quite often and in quite a few experiments, and it was simply the best to have all the weight and the keel fin in the rear of this Micromagic hull. Although this hull is slightly modified, I figured that also for my hull this would be the best. The big point, which will really upset me later in this video, is that I have no scale to measure how heavy this keel and lead bulb is, and that made me design a extremely cool and good looking and symmetrical lead bulb, which is simply too heavy. My goal was to have a total weight of around 420 to 450 grams, but later I figured out that this keel is around 700 grams, so way too heavy. The keel fin itself turned out to be around 200 grams itself, so we need to chop off some weight to get to the perfect waterline of the boat. I have some plans in mind for the next build, but we will figure out what to do. Here I am in my new workshop and I'm sanding down some black glue I added and compare it to my original orange keel, just to have an idea how big it should be and how big the perfect keel size is. Excuse me. I am now trying to chop off some surface and some volume to decrease the weight. First with this chop saw and now with a Japanese pull saw. Both wasn't the greatest and best idea, and so I started using a chisel. And now back to the pull saw. The pull saw is just super straight, but the chisel is nice. If it is sharp, you can shape the keel pretty good. The rear of this fin needs to go as well. That hurt extremely. I don't know what to say, but that's how life goes. To be honest, it's all about just a good feeling and being not too shy about changing up your plans. It's not worth going to the lake without the best feeling, and it's not worth going to a regatta without knowing that you have the absolute chance to win. Sorry for vibrating the camera out of focus, and I have to turn it back. And by now I have put on some gloves because, to be honest, lead is really toxic. You have to make sure that your eyes and your breathing organs are protected if you are sanding and melting the lead by just scraping and filing and cutting out some lead. I think that won't hurt the body too much. No one has died in my surrounding from lead, but better safe than sorry. Sanding this keel with some 120 grit sandpaper was normal and easy. Lead is normally pretty soft and simple to work with, so I had no trouble. Here I checked the weight and I'm around 150 or 160 gram, I don't remember for this voiceover. So I started chopping off some more weight to get it down for the perfect weight. Again with this chop saw, just some scraping and not the best solution, but it works. I don't know if you need to use your tools always for the steak how it's supposed to be. I like to just mess around with everything I can use. Sanding with a cutting disc or cutting with a sanding disc, something like this. You know what I mean. Okay, here you can see in the next shot how the painted keel and fin looks like, but we have another problem, the paint is coming off. See you in the next video, we show